first question really would be, how did you celebrate the win?
Didn't do a lot, to be honest. On the night, obviously, by the time we do your medicals, and then I had to do an interview with Cage Warriors with Edith, and I had to do the media room as well. So I think I got from there 5-1, something like that. So me and my old man stopped in McDonald's on the way home on a burger, and that was it. I went away for a couple of days, with my girlfriend, and then obviously celebrated with my friends the weekend after. But it hadn't been nothing crazy, just same people around me, the local boys, just having a little drink and stuff like that, but nothing. There was no after parties and suits and all that.
That's not what I heard.
So you're just taking the time now to take a bit of time off and just develop in the gym, is that it?
Yeah, just taking over really. Like you said, just I got time now where I'm not worried about sparring every night. I'm not worried about every round being fight specific. Now I got time to work my striking, work my grappling, my wrestling, improve, learn some new techniques, sharpen the old ones. Like with S&C, stuff like that, it's a chance now to improve power, explosiveness, speed, rather than, when you've got a fight coming up, this is your program, you're dialing into that fight night, whereas now it's every area of training we can, sort of the restraints are off a little bit, we can work on new stuff, we can work on sharpening the old things as well. So it's as much as I enjoy being in fight camp, this little phase is nice as well, because you can't, when you're constantly in fight camp busy, it's hard to really improve, because fight camp you're just sharpening the tools you already got, whereas now it's a chance to grow and get that a little bit better,
Is there any particular area you're trying to focus on now or to develop?
Just everywhere, just trying to be better everywhere. Obviously, I'm striking all the time between my two striking coaches, and I'm doing privates there. Strength and condition as well. I'm always trying to get better as an athlete as well as a fighter. You got to have the technique and stuff like that, but obviously S&C is a big part of it now. You look at some of the boys competing at the top level, they're athletes, you know what I mean? They're big, strong guys, so you've got to be able to try and reach that sort of level, or be able to be at a level where you can compete and let your technique take over. So it's a lot of that. I'm training S&C 3 times a week now, striking 2-3 times a week, and obviously my grappling and wrestling as well. So there's nothing like, I haven't come up with the fight and thought, right, I need to work this specifically. It's just a matter of just keep getting better everywhere. I've got a bit of free time where I can make the sessions more technical, stuff like that.
Yeah, I notice a lot of them, especially the younger aspiring mixed martial artists, always ask you how often do you train? What's a typical day of training for you? Like how many sessions a day? And
so in fight camp it can be anything from 3 to 4 sessions a day, Monday to Friday, and then 2 tough sessions on Saturday, Sunday off. So morning is usually like a run, sprints or run, and then midday will be sort of like an S&C session or a Thai session or a boxing session. Then night time, then we got set drills at the gym. So like a Monday night is Shark Tank, MMA sparring, Tuesday night's Thai, Wednesday night's rolling all night, Thursday night is wrestling all night, Friday night is open mat. So that's your session where you sort of get to, if you want to spar, you can spar. If you want to just have a roll, you can roll. If you want to drill technique, then you can do that. And then Saturday I do like a fight simulation with my old man and Carl, and it's sort of like a circuit. It's 5-6 minute rounds, and we mix that in between, like the air dying to wrestling to putting myself in bad positions. Just trying to burn me out basically, but keep me working and keeping my technique sharp under a bit of pressure. Out the fight camp is a little bit more relaxed, so it's probably 2-3 sessions a day, not as intense. So I'm still doing my sprint work and stuff like that just to stay fit, because in the past I've let myself, when I first started off, I would go from being in fight camp, and then I wouldn't run for 4 weeks, and I'd try and run then at the beginning of the next camp, and I was very unfit, so I keep myself ticking over, keep myself fit. But again, the sessions now are more technical. So for example, is wrestling tonight. If I was in fight camp, you would just go hard for an hour, sparring, wall work, stuff like that. Whereas tonight there'll be an hour of technique, and we'll have a little couple of rounds just to finish off, get that sweat on. So it's still you're still training a lot, but the session then is intense, then it's taxing on your body, and obviously, the diet's not as strict, so you got a little bit more food, do a little bit extra energy where you don't feel. Some sessions, in fight camp, you haven't got much food, you feel a little bit tired, but it's not too bad now. It's not more enjoyable because I do enjoy the fight camp, but it's just a different vibe completely.
Between Eckendale, Malone now is pretty much the top of the division gone. When you're looking at the division, is there anyone there that you think could realistically pose a challenge to you, an interesting challenge now, or have you pretty much cleared the division?
I mean, I don't like to say like cleared out the division because obviously there are guys about, but I mean realistically, Eckendale was the next best thing to take me out. That didn't happen. Malone, same again. I've beat them both, not just beat them but convincingly as well. Obviously dominated them. It wasn't even it wasn't even as if it was a first round finish. And people can say, oh, he just got caught in the first round. They've both they're both first round finishes. Both I took over as the fight went on. So I don't really see that. When I beat Eckendale then, everyone was saying, right, Malone's the next guy. He's got to fight Malone. He was it was set in stone that he was the next challenger, which I had no problem with. Whereas at the minute, I don't see anyone really that is next in line that you could say, right, that's the next guy he's got to fight.
Yeah.
There's no one that's really earned a shot yet. And after my last two fights, I don't see that there's anyone in Europe that can really pose too much of a threat to me at the minute. I think for me to stay motivated and to take on a challenge, I need to fight some of the bigger boys at on the next level.
Yeah. We spoke to a few people, and people like Marshman and Brett and Jamie Hughes. They've all been saying that you have essentially completed the division and it is time for you to make the bigger jump. And I know you and your dad have sort of hushed any talk of the UFC in the past, but are you at that point now where that's pretty much what you want next for the career?
Yeah, if I'm honest, that's what I'm looking for. Again, at the time, I think it was this time last year I signed the 5-fight deal for Cage Warriors, whereas at the time, I'd only had one fight at bantamweight, so there was a lot of options there, really, But I've fought whatever they put in front of me, especially in September, I sort of not did him a favour, but I saved the card a little bit. If I had stepped down off that card, I think a day before they'd have lost a lot of ticket sales, which might have took a bit of the buzz away from the show in the Ice Arena then. Whereas because I stepped in and fought, still fought that guy on short notice, a risky fight and I have to take. The buzz then for December was even bigger again. So I think I've done everything really. I've took out, like you said, the next two best guys behind me, and Scott and Dale. I think if them two was to fight 90% of the division in Europe, they'd probably beat them. So, but I've beat them convincingly now. So I think it's that time now to just take. It is what it is now. There's no one really there for me to fight. So I think the next step is obviously the UFC or something along those lines.
Yeah, and the guys we've spoken to who said you could possibly fit straight into UFC. Brett actually said that he thinks that, and Jack Marshman agreed, that you could slot right in the top 15 of the UFC already. How do you see yourself? Do you sort of agree? Where do you think you would
no, I think that's a fair statement to make. Like, if I'm honest, I think there's some. I'm a fanboy. I watch every UFC that's on. I watch the card top to bottom, and I see some guys in there, and I think I fought tougher guys on Cage Warriors than some of the guys that are in there at the minute. So I think when me and Brett spar, we have very competitive spars, and so Brett and Jack know me better than I know myself. I suppose I've been sparring with Brett and Jack since I was 17, 18 years of age. Them pair especially, have took me under their wing a little bit. So I think I could slot in there and compete definitely. But again, I'm still young. I'm 24. I've got plenty of time on my side. So if I do get in there, I don't think it won't be a long time. I don't think before you see me start pushing for the top 15, top 10, top 5. It's just a matter of time. I think if I get the call and the contract, then I think they'll see what I'm about. Fairly soon. First 2-3 fights, they'll see that I'm capable of competing at that level.
Yeah.
A lot of the hot European prospects, when they actually get into the UFC, they normally get fed to some of the top guys instantly rather than tune-up fights. Yeah. Would you rather, if it ever came, take the lower level fights, or do you think you could hang with the likes of Aljamain Sterling, the Pedro Munozes of the?
Yeah, no, I think I could hang with them. I mean, I've never been one to pick my fights. I've always had the mindset of when you're in the UFC, you fight who you're given. You're not like you don't get given an option of, do you want to fight this guy, do you want to fight that guy. This is who you're fighting, this is the date you're fighting, right, get ready and get ready to make weight and fight. So I've always kept that in the back of my mind, as whoever they offer me, that's what I'm going to fight. And I've done the same in Cage Warriors. There's been a couple of times in Cage Warriors where people have said, this could be the guy, it's too much too soon. So I've always had the mindset of fighting the best available opponent, especially the last 2 fights. But also when I was at featherweight as well, I took a couple of risky fights that people sort of online criticised me for at the time, saying that it was a bit much too soon. So whether they build me up or whether, like you said, they try and feed me to the lions straight away, there's no skin off my back. I'll fight whoever they put in front of me, and I'd be confident that I can beat those top guys as well. I'm confident in my skills and my coaches that we could put something together to compete and look good against those guys.
And you're not in a position where you need to fight and create any more buzz to make that happen. Do you think it's just a case of sitting and waiting at this point?
Yeah, it's like we said, I don't think there's not a fight out there now in Europe that would sort of push me any further at the minute. Is the fights out there at the minute is sort of all for me to lose and all for them to gain. That's how I look at it. Is all it is now is a matter, if someone beats me, they just take my buzz and take all the out trainers behind me. Whereas what do I get to gain? Whereas the last 2 fights, Eckendale was a bit of a monster, undefeated. So what I had to gain was, if I beat him, then I took his unbeaten record. Scott was, I know he had the 1 loss, but he'd had 6 straight wins. I think he was ranked 3 or 4, I think, in the British rankings. I'd beat Josh as well. So what I had to gain was getting a win back for my teammate, and again taking out the next top guy. Whereas now, whoever they put in there now, it's all for them to gain and all for me to lose. Whereas obviously if I sit back and wait and hopefully get that call, then it's back to the scenario then of working your way back up the ladder. I've at the minute I'm the big fish in the little pond, whereas I want to be the little fish in the big pond. You know what I mean? That's why I got my heart set on.
Yeah, somewhere where you can keep growing. I imagine when you hit the sort of glass ceiling, that's the frustrating part. Someone who wants to compete and continue to grow is imagine it's frustrating to be.
Yeah, well, I'm a competitor. Like, I've been competing now regularly since I was probably 10 years of age. Every couple of weeks or every couple of months. So it's I constantly want to challenge myself. Whereas not that I'm unmotivated now, but I've never been unmotivated. But people would argue, I suppose, that one motivation what I have in fighting someone whose levels below me that I know I'm going to beat. Where do you put me in there, like you said, if they build me or even if they chuck me in straight in the deep end, it's like, right, well, no, you're fighting a guy who's top 20 in the world. Straight away, it's a different kettle of fish. So straight away, your motivation level's up there. You're going to train hard. You're going to push yourself in the diet, the training, the mental prep. So, like you said, it's one of them ones I like to continuously grow, get better. So for me to do that now, I think I need that next step and that next challenge.
One of the differences with the UFC is obviously they have cards pretty much everywhere. And I think obviously Brett and Jack, they fought all over, and I think you've been with Jack to 1 or 2.
Yeah, I've been quite well. I've been to Canada, Brazil with Jack. You've done the European cards as well. I haven't been to the last few because I've been in fight camp myself. But yeah, I've travelled about and yeah, that's something I want to do as well. And I think I've had 8 or 9 pro fights in Wales now. So it's nice to, as much as I love the support and having it. Thousands of fans behind me, it's going to be nice to explore the world a little bit and get out there, fight in enemy territory a bit and get a feel for that, because it is a different vibe. When I've been out in Canada and Brazil with Jack, it's completely different how it feels fighting in Wales, so that's something I look forward to doing as well.
Yeah, and you fought yourself in Belgium, wasn't it?
Belgium, yeah. I think I travelled away to Belgium to fight, and I boxed in Sweden as well, so that's the only real 2 away trip. I've fought in London and stuff like that, and then Birmingham, but apart from Belgium and Sweden, I never fought outside the UK. So
do you think that's something you'll be able to deal with quite well, or?
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't as I always say, as good as it is to have that support behind you and spur you on. When I have been the away fight, and then when I fought in Belgium, they're all booing me and whatever. It didn't feel no different. The fight itself, it didn't feel like the boos were motivating me or putting me off at all. It just felt the same as it always does. So it's not something that I think will bother me, and I think a couple of fights in there, I'll start picking up fans, all over the world. I think my fighting style will attract a lot of fans. That I'm in there. I'm very really in a boring fight. I've got good skill set, so I think that it won't take long before I start picking up fans that are Welsh now, so
Yeah.
hopefully they don't. Hopefully they like me and they don't turn it like a Colby Covington character.
No, and I was gonna say that because I've noticed over the last few fights, as there seems to be more of a buzz around it. I noticed with it being on UFC Fight Pass, there are a lot of American fans who are watching, and there's been a lot talked about. Have you noticed a rise in your following over the last few fights?
Yeah, especially since the first fight in the Ice Arena or the Viola Arena in, when was it, September.
Yeah.
Since the first fight it's gone through the roof. Obviously, to be honest, it's that main event slot. I think obviously with it being on Fight Pass, if you main event, I think it comes up on Fight Pass on like Cage Warriors or whatever it is. It was show for the second day, so your name's there, your face is on the poster. So like you said, when you've got the guys from America and whatever scrolling through, they see your name and they see your face, and it does get you out there a little bit more, and it's definitely giving me the push, which is, and I gotta be honest, I gotta be thankful to Cage Warriors for that, because ever since I've signed with them, they've always given me that promotional push, and especially the last year, since they've been doing the big shows in Wales, it's been like 10 times more, like I've been on Scrum 5, training with the Dragon and stuff like that. It's stuff that I never picture myself doing as part of the job we're fighting. So it's been a mad couple of months, but I'm grateful for it. I had a message on Instagram the other day off Ross Moriarty, who plays for Wales, and it's like you sit back, like, to me it's normal, but you sit back and look at it, you think like, why would me and him ever be in contact? But it's one of the, and obviously Cage Warriors is the fan for that, because without, if I wouldn't sign to them, without that promotional push, I probably wouldn't, as good as I am skill wise, unless you got the promotion behind you and they get your name out there, then it's always moving up the battle for guys to get their name out there. It's not the sport's not as mainstream as we'd like to think. I don't think, unless you're into the sport, especially in this country, it's not it's not as big as it is in sort of America and Brazil, stuff like that. So it's great to have that push off them.
And with the step up in competition, will the training change? Are you maybe you have a trip to America or something like that in the pipeline? Is that true?
Yeah, I'm looking to go to AKA. When I trained, I went to Jackson's about 2 years ago, and one of the boys I picked up out there with Kyle Driscoll, he's training full time now at AKA. He was one of Khabib's main sparring partners for his last fight, and he's been at me for the last sort of 18 months. Come out and visit. Come and train. I've been telling him all about that year, so I've got a bit of spare time now between fights, so I can go out there for 2-3 weeks, just dip my toe in the water, and go out there, do a bit of training and see where it goes. Obviously, if I enjoy it out there, which I'm sure I will, and if everyone's different, different gyms suit different people, but providing all goes well, it'll be something I look to do regular. I'm always, and even in Wales, I'm always like me and Brett are sparring regular now. I'm sparring regular boxing down with Gary, down with some of the pro boys, so it's constantly about getting better and testing yourself. Like you've got to put yourself out of the comfort zone. I can spar in you all day with the boys that I've known all my life, and it's not that they ain't good enough to push me, because they are, but it's a different environment. You sparring your teammates in your own gym. It's a different environment to go into a different gym and sparring people who don't know. It's a little bit more like a fight. You have not nerves, but you have a little bit of adrenaline going. You don't want to get whooped against someone who in a different gym. So it's all about taking yourself out of the comfort zone. So yeah, hopefully I'll get out to AK now in July, and hopefully again before the end of the year. So, and then we'll see what happens from there. Again, it's all dependent on fight dates and stuff like that. I want to go out there to learn. I don't want to go out there as part of a fight camp. I want to go out there so I can have a couple of weeks of just, like I'm doing now, focusing on learning new skills and getting better, rather than just having to push and spar every session of every day.
Yeah, because Mason goes out there and trains with Team Alpha Male sometimes, and he talked about how that's changed him completely, and obviously he's been working with the likes of Uriah Faber and Sage Northcutt, and didn't Marshman train with John Jones?
Yeah, well, me and Marshman, it's coming up 2 years ago, we went to Albuquerque, and again, it's just a bit surreal. Like Jack was sparring with Cowboy and John Jones. I sparred with John Dodson,
really?
Diego Sanchez. There was a fight on the weekend on Legacy. I don't know if you've seen it. The guy pulled off a go-go platter.
Yeah.
I sparred with him out there every day. Obviously met Kyle out there, who's now in AKA. So, spar with guys, wrestle with guys out there who wrestle for Iowa, which is like one of the top universities out there. So it's a different vibe altogether, and it's just a good experience to have. I would urge any fighter really coming up to, I'm all for having faith in your team and your coaches, which you've got to do, but I would urge any of them to, anyone who's like sort of half in, half out deciding where to go away and train, just go away for 2-3 weeks. You're not jumping ship and leaving the gym. Just go out there and have a train, have a spar with some of these top boys, and it gives you a good idea of where you're at as well. Like at the time, Dodson and Diego, they were, well, they still are the top level guys, like Jack Sparring and John Jones. If you go out there and get whitewashed by them, then you think, right, I got to work on this, I got to work on that. But if you can pull certain little things off or do one thing right and see yourself get better in certain areas, then you know in your mind then you can solidify yourself on getting a bit better, and I'm not that far behind them. So it's a good experience either way, whether it shows you that you're not far behind or whether it shows you that, right, like, I'll work on this and this. I would urge any especially a young fighter who haven't got commitments, like work and kids and stuff like that, get out there and wherever gym, there's plenty about in America. Go out there, see what suits you, and just enjoy it, spar them top boys.
Yeah, it must be a confidence booster as well, because obviously Dodson is, he's championship material. Sanchez is, he's a certified Hall of Famer one day. So
yeah, it's a funny story about Sanchez actually, because like he was fighting at lightweight at the time. So you have two classes. You have like the heavier boys, so welterweights and up spar, and then after that the lightweights and below spar. So I sparred Sanchez. It was like my second day, something like that. And I was doing all right. But he was a big guy. He was probably 180 pound at the time. And he smashed me with a mid kick, and I just remember with like my world coming down. I just went.
So last one I have is between obviously you, Marshall, and Brett. How long, or do you even think Wales will ever see his first world champion in the UFC?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, even maybe not. It might not be me. It might not be Brett. It might not be Jack. It might not be John. But there's kids coming through now. There's amateur boys. There's newly turned pro boys. There's kids in the gym now, 13, 14 years of age, as you can see, are going to be, legit killers. So it might not be us. It might be one of us. It might not be. But I think eventually you'll see. They said it with Britain. Britain was never going to have a world champion, and then all of a sudden Bisping pulled it out the bag. So it's just sometimes it's about timing and sort of the alignment of the stars and all that shit. But it'll happen eventually. It's the same. It started off as will Wales ever have a fight in the UFC? Well, now there's Jack, John, and Brett, and Craig was in there as well. So that was never going to happen. That happened. Wales and they've got someone in there, but they'll never have someone top 10. Brett broke into the top 10 or the top 15. So the next step, is top 5 championship. It'll happen eventually between one of us or between some young gun who's 10 years of age now. We don't know his name. Might come through now in 15 years time and light the world on fire. You never know. But I think it'll definitely happen. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before we get recognised and appreciated as one of the top, MMA fighting countries in the world. Because the talent in Wales is a lot better than a lot of places in the world, I honestly believe, and it's just a matter of time before we get that credit for it.
Awesome. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, no worries.